Hi, my name is Dr. Lucia Capacchione, and I've been keeping a journal for 36 years, which in fact is half of my lifetime. I discovered journaling when I was very ill at age 35. I was suffering with an illness that doctors could not diagnose, nor could they treat it. But I discovered that when I wrote and drew my feelings out, my dreams, my wishes, and some of my experiences, I felt better. Why did I draw? Because I'm an artist. And so I turned my sketchbooks, I turned my artists' sketch pads and sketchers' diaries into a journal. And I took those blank pieces of paper and I started to let my inner life out on that paper. All it took was a bunch of felt pens, very simple. And what I came up with was a method of journal keeping, which I call the creative journal. I've written 13 books, but my first book, and still I think the classic in the field of art journaling and visual journaling, is the creative journal. And this book combines drawing and writing. Because I became an art therapist as a result of this journal journey, I use art therapy techniques. So basically, when people use the creative journal method, they are drawing their feelings out and then writing about them. And the drawing comes from the unconscious, it's spontaneous, it's childlike, it's colorful, it's extremely expressive. It's exactly what we do in art therapy. So the creative journal is really a method for becoming your own art therapist, basically. Because if you're keeping a journal on a regular basis, you're able to get your inner life out onto the page and see what's going on. Journaling is for looking at the past, it's for being introspective about the present, and it's also about being imaginative about the future. As a result of creating the creative journal method, I developed a lot of other books that children could use, that teenagers could use. I have books for children, for adolescents, for parents, for people of all ages. Seniors use the creative journal to look back on their lives and reflect. Where have I been? Where am I now? Where am I going? What am I going to do in my retirement years? So it's a fabulous tool for life planning and for really taking stock and taking an inventory about where you're at in your life. It's very therapeutic. Now, one of the other distinctive characteristics about the creative journal method is my technique of writing and drawing with both hands. The non-dominant hand has a very, very magical way of accessing the right hemisphere of the brain, the emotional centers, intuitive, creative, and spiritual. And so when people do little dialogues and conversations with their bodies, with their cellulite, with their headache, and all kinds of other things, they really get in touch with their true feelings. It's not a matter of thinking about it with your left brain and being rational about it. It's being very emotional. And so the creative journal method always includes drawing and writing with the non-dominant hand, the hand you don't normally write with, and using your dominant hand as well, so that you're having a conversation. I like to say this allows your right brain to know what your left brain is thinking, and it lets your left brain know what your right brain is feeling, because that's your feeling center. So this book, The Power of Your Other Hand, presents my research in all this right hand, left hand work and right left brain theory as it applies to journaling. And of course, I have also been the pioneer using journal therapy in inner child work. This is my best-selling book, Recovery of Your Inner Child. And in this method, we use the non-dominant hand to access the inner child, because the non-dominant hand writes like a little kid. It's awkward, it's very childlike, very emotional, very intuitive and creative. So this entire book is about getting in touch with that creative self through the inner child and learning to take care of ourselves, finding a nurturing and protective parent within that takes care of us. That part writes with the dominant hand. So although this may not look like a journaling book on the surface, that's exactly what it is. Every exercise in this book just about is a journal exercise. Now, journaling is great for looking into the past, it's great for looking at the present, but it's fabulous for looking into the future. And this book, Visioning, is a combination of techniques and media. It requires that the person make a visioning collage of what they want in their lives, their heart's desire. Magazine photographs in a montage that really pictures what's in our hearts. And then, once we have that montage, that visioning board, then we use the journaling method. Writing and drawing, dialoguing with images from the collage, dialoguing with our future self, with different parts of our personality that want to come out as a result of what we discover from that collage. This work is used with all ages. My research has been very unique in that I've had the opportunity to work with entire school systems, K through 6, in my first research project that was federally funded in the Garvey District in 1981-82. We found that reading and math scores went up as high as 20 percentile point gains in 1 year, and we only had 1 year for the project. Every child in these 2 schools kept journals. They were not graded for the journals, they were not criticized, and no one read the journals unless they voluntarily chose to share in the sharing session. And so from 3 to 5 times a week, these K through 12 age children, K through 6, were doing journal work. And the results were phenomenal. They were also fabulous in terms of behavior in the classroom. If they did journaling first thing in the day, it just calmed the kids down. This is a school system that was primarily Hispanic and Asian, with lots of children who had immigrated to the United States under great stress, very, very traumatic situations. So these children needed a lot of emotional work too, and the journaling really helped them with that, to get their feelings out, to express what they'd gone through, and know that it was okay. We've also worked in school systems in Texas, K through 12, and we use the Creative Journal for Teens, the Creative Journal for Children, and we've done parent education, the Creative Journal for Parents. We have worked with teen moms on the border of Mexico in South Texas, very high-risk area, the lowest income of any urban school districts in the United States. Real poverty in these districts. And these children have responded fantastically to journaling. So the educational benefits of journaling are immense. It gives children a chance to really work with words, get their feelings out, express themselves without somebody breathing down their neck and giving them grades, because they know it's confidential. It gives them the raw material for doing assignment writing in class. Once they get motivated and they want to write about themselves and their lives, then they're ready to do assignments. And it also helps, as I mentioned earlier, with behavior problems, because the children calm down, they express themselves, and a lot of their anxiety and a lot of the emotional stress that they bring to school gets dissipated in the pages of the journal. So I can't speak highly enough for the journaling process for children, but especially the creative journal, because the drawing allows pre-readers and writers to express in a journal. They can keep a journal anyway. And then as they learn to read and write, they can start putting words to their pictures. So this method is ideally suited for children. And of course, adults love it because it's fun. It gives us a chance to just get our feelings out in a different language. And truly, the language of emotions is art. All of the arts. Every artist knows that. And so if you want to tap into your feelings and your emotions, the way you want to do it is in the language of the arts. That's just the way it is. And so the Creative Journal really does that. And beyond all that, of course, it helps people create the future they want. Teenagers love this. The teenagers love doing magazine photo collage anyway. And so when they get the Creative Journal for Teens in their hand, and then they're taught how to do visioning with this book, they go to town. They just love it. They drop all of their resistance and their negativity about being in a classroom, and they really, really have fun. And they find their own inner voice about what's really guiding them. So for anyone of any age, the Creative Journal method has proven to be extremely effective. And of course, as I said when I started, it saved my life. So obviously, I believe in it. Thank you for your time.